Like when I heard Hey Ya for the first time, I think I literally heard it on K-Rock. It was like on the rock station. And I remember being like, what is that snare? You know, it's like also one of the first times that I like remember thinking like what, and I had never thought of music that way, where I like tried to understand what music production was. And it like changed my life.
This is the currency now, you know, that people making music absorb so many different styles and so many different eras, and they bring it all in. It's almost as if some of that tribalism that existed in the past and some of that potential little snobbery where you said, oh no, we don't want to sound like that. We don't like that music. That doesn't seem to exist so much.
Yeah, I was exposed to that kind of early on. I think just growing up in LA, I was exposed to a lot of people who, you know, were musicians, but they just had such strong opinions about certain things. And like you said, tribalism. And I just never could hang with that sort of thing. I just listened, like I said, I listened to kind of everything. And I think it was actually good that I was exposed to so many people like that early on, because I knew in deep within me, I was like, that's not how I feel about a lot of music that I hear. And I actually think it really made me, you know, figure out what I like and try to make music how I would want to hear something made with different sounds. I don't know.
I think for whatever reason, John, when you mention like stepping away from tribalism, I can't help but think of like the Prodigy. And as someone who was like probably like 13 or 14 when the Prodigy released The Fat of the Land, I definitely feel like there was like kind of like all of the boundaries were getting knocked down. And I think the like British music is kind of that late 90s British music is really responsible for ending that tribalism, where it's like, is this a rock band? Is this an electronic group? Is this a rap group? Like what tribe is this a part of? And I think it's cool that like we probably all make music in the wake of that.
Yeah. And also going back to like the early 2000s, you know, hip hop and R&B and rap, like, you know, when I think of like the music that made me most excited about music, it was like the Neptunes or Timbaland, and mixing sounds and mixing real instruments, organic instruments with the M1 or whatever, with, you know, also sounds that are supposed to, you know, that's why I love GarageBand so much. It's like you're not playing a guitar, you're playing a computer, but it's, you know, a MIDI sound of a guitar. I love all that kind of stuff. And, you know, also like OutKast, like The Love Below, I've talked about it before, like the way that Andre 3000 like was melding so many genres, and just was that was when I was in like 9th grade. I heard Speaker Box Love Below, and it like blew my mind right open, you know, especially being a guitar player and hearing like Prototype being like, what is this? And, you know, I think that, and, you know, all the Neptune stuff, like it really just like burst my mind open. And I didn't know how to get sounds like that, you know, like I didn't know, like when I heard Hey Ya for the first time, I think I literally heard it on K-Rock. I think I did. Like, I don't know if that's for sure, but it was like on the rock station. And I remember being like, what is that snare? You know, it's like also one of the first times that I like remember thinking like, what? And I had never thought of music that way, you know. I was like, what is that snare? And the fact that it was like weird chords and it was acoustic guitar, but it was, you know, Andre 3000 and then that synth dun 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 dun. Like I just remember being like, how do people like, that was one of the first times where I like tried to understand what music production was, and it like changed my life.
This episode is being supported by Tape It, the iPhone app made specifically for musicians. If you, like many of our guests, use voice memos, then switching to Tape It is an obvious choice. And now, Tape It has layering. This means you can record over your voice notes, try out top lines, stack harmonies, build up instruments, jam with yourself, and so much more. Layering is such an exciting addition to Tape It's long list of features to help you stay creative and organized, including the ability to record straight from your lock screen, set markers, add notes, and add photos of settings. You can easily import your old voice notes, sync to the cloud, and create shared playlists with co-writers and bandmates. So, head to the link below to install Tape It and use the promo code TAPENOTES to receive a whopping 20% off Tape It Pro. And now, back to the episode. Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. That's really, really interesting, isn't it? And you're right. I mean, all of those different things have happened and helped kind of shake things up in different ways and help shape the future of music and how we listen to it. It's very exciting. And I like the idea that you're complimenting British culture for bringing things together. And in many ways, there has been that approach over here. But I was thinking of the internet and the power of the internet and how that has kind of changed things too. And I always thought, really, Rostam, that Vampire Weekend were kind of one of the first post-internet bands where you seem to bring so many different references that you could really have only found and discovered via the internet. That you would combine music from Zimbabwe or something alongside U2 or whatever, just all at once, because you were of an age where you could find all that stuff without having had to live in these different places or live through these different eras. You could find it there accessible on your laptop.
Yeah, I definitely think we were of the generation that used things like SoulSeek and LimeWire to get records that were hard to find. I feel like there's certain MP3s that I own that are not available on streaming services. Like I think there's a version of Wuthering Heights that Ezra sent me in college that was part of the greatest hits, and Kate Bush re-sings the vocal of Wuthering Heights, not in a witch's voice. And this is my favorite version of Wuthering Heights.
You never even, Kate Bush is my fave.
Okay, this is my favorite version of Wuthering Heights. Ezra sent the MP3 to me. I think he maybe got it from his friend Andre. I don't think you can find this version on Spotify because it's on the greatest hits compilation. And for whatever reason, they never put that on Spotify. But I love that version because Kate's vocal is like a little bit less intense. And she was also 17 and she thought it'd be cool to sing the song in a witch's voice. And she changed her mind, like 10, 20 years later. So yeah, definitely go find that. I think it is available on YouTube. It's the re-vocaled greatest hits version. But then working with Clairo in 2018 and 2019, she was the first artist where she had everything. She didn't have to like seek it out on SoulSeek or LimeWire, I don't think. It was just everything was available for her on Spotify. And so she had this incredibly wide indexical knowledge of like sort of like the history of song, and it blew my mind. And I think right now we're in an interesting era where everybody has access to so much music instantly, and I think it does define sort of like the current moment stylistically in a cool way.
We've got an exciting festive announcement. The Ultimate Studio Giveaway has returned. One winner will walk away with an incredible prize list. For more details and to be in with a chance to win the bundle, all you have to do is head over to the Take Notes Patreon page at patreon.com/Take Notes, sign up for free, and comment who you'd like to see on the podcast on the top pinned post. The competition will remain open until the 7th of January, at which point a winner will be drawn. Good luck.